Hey guys, Professor Bill Comic Book University and Nightwing issue number 79. This was a good comic book. You may notice, yeah, I forgot. The cover sucks. With all due respect, the cover sucks. I hate the cover. I couldn't tell what it was when it was on the shelf. Looked right past it, did the sweep and everything. Oh well, oops. Yeah, if your cover doesn't stand out, you might as well not even print a book. It's as simple as that. You know what I'm saying? There is no, well, you should take the blame for it. There's always somebody with a DC comic book who wants to point out somebody but deserves a blame. I'm going to get into that in a hot moment, but I'm going to talk about how really good this comic book was. This issue is called Nightwing, Leaping into the Light, Part 2. Tom Taylor is the writer, Bruno Redondo doing the art, Adriano Lucas doing the colors, Wes Abbott on letters, Redondo does the cover. Great interior art, but pick better covers there, bud. And Jamal Campbell does a variant cover. Anyway, Nightwing was, of course, updated and therefore created by Marv Wolfman and George Perez. And right here where I'm reading all this stuff, there's Marvin George's Pizza 24 Hours. There is, in my opinion, nothing you can do better as a writer-artist team than to give respect to the creators of the character, the franchise that you are currently basically making money off of. You know what I'm saying? That you're getting a check cut while you're doing these characters. A little bit of respect to the creators of this character. That it's not just that it goes a long way. That's the bulk of the road. You know what I'm saying? The rest is just getting in and getting in and out of the car. If just that happened, I'd still be satisfied with this comic book, really. But it's more than that. It's Nightwing trying to do some good things, for some other people. I understand he's a billionaire now. And, when you start off and you've got the whole thing like, oh, I've had several people in my life, my parents, my father, my other father, and my friends and my brothers. When you got parents, but then you say my father, and you're talking about Bruce Wayne, Batman, and my other father, and there's obviously Alfred. Like, it's a warm, fuzzy feeling that you get. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was good. It was good. I liked this. Him deciding what he's going to do with his money. I'm not going to reveal that because it's not quite a spoiler, but it's almost a spoiler in this book. But you get to see the corruption of Bloodhaven, New Jersey. So you get to see how horrible and terrible the crime is. And in the real earthly world that you and I live in, real life, New Jersey is the most corrupt-ridden state in the entire union. So like there's just zero doubt about it. With all due respect, be happy that Cory Booker didn't become the president because all of them are so filthy, stuck in the mud of the corruption there and the mob and everything. It's terrible, absolutely terrible. But this is a really good example of a New Jersey city, Nightwing being a little bit stuck in his head, Barbara having to kind of get Dick out of his own head. The conversations that are in here are one thing because they're hoity-toity. They're kind of like, oh, we got to help people, which is a good thing, but it's also an easy win. It's an easy check mark to get. The big question is, how are we actually going to see this happen, right? Because Dick is a very, very humble person. There's the part in here where he goes to order 2 slices, one for each of them, and Barbara like chastises him a little bit. It's like, you're a billionaire now. He's like, you're right. We should splurge. 2 slices each. Are you kidding me? But then he goes and he starts taking care of some of the homeless people and the kids in the neighborhood. But there are problems that he can't be around all the time. Case in point, the Heartless Man. This is disgusting. And this is horrible. And like, you really want to hate a character when the Heartless Man says, tell your kid to run. I'm like, oh man, there's nothing good gonna come out of this. And it was like, I was mad when I read this. I was angry when I saw what happened. Genuinely angry. It's like, these guys don't have it hard enough, and you have to go and pull some crap like this. That just pisses me off. I actually just noticed a going out of business sign on Marvin George's Pizza 24 Hours. I get the feeling that this particular night, this is going to help them out a little bit. They get a good influx of money. The pickpocket thing, the stuff with the mob boss, it was fun. It was also a little bit like, it was pissing me off with the whole idea of like, I'm going to let these kids get away with stealing. There are better ways to handle that. But, again, Dick is just, he's one of those really weird characters where you can't hate him. I don't know why anybody would dislike Dick Grayson. It doesn't make sense to me, but I mean, everybody's taste is what it is. But he's just one of those characters that he just doesn't do wrong things. He doesn't do bad things, Even if he screws something up, it's like, yeah, but it's Nightwing. You know what I'm saying? He meant well. Like he's almost like the Teflon Bat family member, I don't know, man. There's also something very important happened in this book. Tom Taylor or the editor or whoever, somebody went and posted in here when Barbara was talking about getting a new system for her spinal column and her legs. There was a reference in here. Oh, go back to the Joker War. Well, I remember reading the first issue of Batgirl, from the Joker War, and there was no editor's note in the entire thing that gave me a reference as to when she got such and such and such, when I can go back and, where I can go back and read this in order to see, like, exactly how this happened. Because I knew that she got her legs back. I just never knew how she got her legs back. I thought it was just retcon that she got her legs back, or that she healed from being shot in the spine. It can happen. It's a freaking comic book company. You know what I'm saying? Shut up. But one particular person, and who cares? You know what I'm saying? You always see that one mean comment, and you're happy at seeing all the nice comments, but there's always that one mean comment that kind of, you're reminded of it every so often. I'm just reminded of that comment in here. It's not their job to point this out. That's on you, because I haven't read too many of the books, but I still knew about such a, with all due respect, shut up and learn what a comic book is. Like, stuff like that is so frustrating. You shut your stupid pig dog mouth, okay? Because no, you cannot put it on the reader to buy all the same comic books that you happen to have bought in order to get the knowledge that you got, whatever. Like, I don't care how much you love a character. The writers, the editors, the artists, they still have to do their job. And if you can't pick up a comic book without ever having read anything from this particular character before, if you can't pick it up and at least follow along on the story, then someone has failed at their job. It's usually the editor who gets in trouble for that stuff, and rightfully so. So at the end of the day, no, it is never upon me or anybody else who purchases the book. When you purchase something, you expect to have a complete picture of what you're supposed to get. This book did exactly that. This book, everybody was on their game in this book. And I love the idea of that. Because remember, this is a whole new version of Dick Grayson, right? A whole new thing happened to him. He got his memory back. He got his inheritance from his other father, Alfred. There's a lot of changes in here. And if I didn't read the previous issue, I would kind of want to know how these things happened. In fact, I think that is one of the things that didn't quite, looking at this stuff on a freaking computer, damn it. Yeah, that's actually something that didn't happen. They didn't explain how he got all that money. So there we go. There's a bit of a mishap on the part of this book. There should be some kind of a forward on the book, an introduction, so that you know, oh, Dick Grayson is so and so and so. Recently, Dick just inherited $1 billion from the recently deceased Alfred, his former butler and father figure. Wouldn't be that hard to put that in there, right? Maybe throw in an editor's note on top of that. To me, it doesn't seem that hard to do. And when you miss out on doing something like that, I mean, you've already got the page. You've already got the page where you got it created by so and so and so, and written by, and drawn by, and colored by, edited by. You've got all of those things. Why not just go the extra step? Marvel does it. Why not do that here also? You want to say it's on the reader? Not a problem. Then you got people who stop buying these books. They stop reading the books because they can't follow along. And then pretty soon, nobody new was buying the books. And then pretty soon, the book actually winds up going to digital only. And then pretty soon, it just winds up not happening anymore. If you think that can't happen, like I said, try reading more comic books. At the end of the day, it seems like they did make that mistake. But everything else on here, if you did read the previous issue, you're good. You're good. You could have ignored reading everything else that came before it. Issue 79. They didn't even restart at issue number 1 with the previous issue. And yet, since I read the previous issue, I'm still following along. That said, yeah, every book. You should be able to pick up every single book, right? That's a John Byrne thing where he says every single comic book that you make is somebody's first comic book. Keep that in mind. You'll never go wrong. And I'm out. Like the video, watch an ad. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.